I'm Leah Hammond, and welcome to this interview. I'm joined with the very beautiful and talented Camila. She is from the hit series, or soap, I guess, Days of Our Lives, and she plays Gabby Hernandez. Thank you for joining me. I
Thank you
kind
so
of,
much.
I kind of want to call you Gabby just because, like, I feel like I know you as Gabby, so it's kind of
That's
weird. Do you get
the
that a
funny thing
lot?
is I get it all the time, and my sister's name is actually Gabby, so I'm really used to people calling me Gabby all the time.
Oh
So
my gosh, that is so funny.
yeah, it's really weird.
So the reason why I wanted to talk to you is because I feel like so many people know you from a soap perspective and not on a personal level. And I've seen so many interviews with you doing it, talking about the soap and stuff like that. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to actually talk about you.
Cool.
And I'm really interested in, you're full of drama. You're on a soap and you're surrounded by drama every single day. How do you not bring that home with you?
I will say that it's difficult to not be kind of crabby once I get back here because not only is it dramatic situations that I'm surrounded by mine and other characters, but it's a lot of dialogue and it's a lot of pressure. And, we're asked to do a lot. On a normal primetime set, you'd do 2 episodes in a week or 2 weeks. And we're doing sometimes 10 episodes a week. And that's quite excessive, and that puts a lot of pressure on us. And when I get home, sometimes I don't want to talk because I've been talking all day,
Right.
and or memorizing or focusing on 100 million things, and I just kind of want to lay down and not talk to anybody. But you kind of have to just put that aside. Just like you don't want to bring home to work, you don't want to bring work to home.
Do you know of anybody that suffers from anxiety or mental illness or depression or
Well,
yourself?
I suffer from anxiety. I definitely have PTSD from flights that I have taken that have, for me, been very traumatic
Right.
because of circumstances. Um, and I can't fly anymore. I don't. It doesn't feel healthy for me to fly, and I get illogical and irrational, and I get extremely anxious, and it's just I bury myself in this crazy little hole, and I can't get out of it.
Right.
And so right now I'm in the process of like getting my dog some paperwork for her to be an emotional support animal.
Oh, that's
I don't
amazing.
necessarily, yeah, so I'm working on that, trying to see if my Kiwi can go with me. I tried medicating the last 2 times that I went on planes, and honestly, I didn't really feel much of a difference. I don't like medication. I've never really taken a lot of it. I'm not used to it because my mom is very much against it, and she's really about just everything at home, trying to find home remedies and stuff like that. So for me, I took it. It did. I guess it made me feel a little bit less nervous, but honestly, it did really much the same effect as a homeopathic stress relieving candy from Whole Foods. So for me personally, I don't recommend it because for in my body, I don't necessarily think it really changed much,
Right.
and I think it was just much stronger than anything else.
Hmm.
But I'm finding different ways, like the thing with my dog, or different things like that to try to channel it. And of course, the daily anxieties of life, and of course, work and pressure. A lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure in our job, and that really makes things kind of like build up. And one day, sometimes you do explode, but then you have to
Yeah.
like bring it back down.
How does it make you feel like because you play Gabby and that's Abigail's best friend and she's actually going through major anxiety and depression right now on the show. How did that make you feel with being like working with that and someone that is experiencing that and you know deep down how it feels?
Well, first of all, I think it's really great that the writers are choosing to write about it because I just feel like actually was talking about this with a friend the other day. I don't remember a time that I wasn't obsessed with something. I remember being born and being obsessed with the television, and then being obsessed with MySpace and computers, and then my phone. And it just kind of happened in this. I'm 26, and I feel like my entire generation has only been about this craziness, this crazy world that's this nonstop life.
Yeah.
And so, it happens all the time for me. And I think just finding different ways, like right now I'm doing meditation.
Okay.
Well, I've been doing that for quite a bit, but transcendental meditation is a course that my boyfriend and I took. But there's so many different ways. Like I think that I really channel my anxiety and I learn how to focus and harness it when I work out. It
Okay.
helps me so much. I work out and I feel so good after. I feel like I can conquer my day. I feel like no stress. So, for it's different.
Yeah, do you feel like after you work out you're just like smiling after? Like you just feel so good?
Absolutely. The endorphins are like punching me in the face.
Is there like any sort of foods that make you feel good? Because I know for me that like I have like little foods like pineapple and stuff. It just makes me feel nice.
Yes, I mean, there's two. Chocolate is definitely one of them. I
Hmm.
love chocolate things. Healthy chocolate, like dark chocolate, or unhealthy, like Snickers. Like, I really don't. I'm not judgy about chocolate. Um, and the other thing is there's something about like comfort food, like whatever your comfort food is. For me, it's Cuban food. When I have Cuban food, I feel so good. I feel like home. I feel like tastes that I know,
Yeah.
flavors that I've had my whole life. So those two.
Being like in the public eye, obviously, how do you handle like all the criticism and people like constantly being like, "Oh, she needs to lose weight, she needs to work out, like she's got cellulite." Like how do you not let that affect you?
Well, I mean, honestly, I'm a very sensitive person, and some things do affect me. Like I will share this. I um, had very big problems with my ears growing up. They were just something that I couldn't even see myself in the mirror. I couldn't pick up my hair, and I even had plastic surgery at the age of 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was that bad. I didn't want a quinceañera, which is like a big thing in our culture. I wanted to have surgery.
Right.
And I did. And honestly, it didn't really change much for me because it was an internal thing. It was this kind of like battle that I had with myself.
Right.
And it wasn't until I got that out of my head, and other people helped me too. My boyfriend definitely encouraged me to pick my hair up and go to events and
Right.
would tell me, "Oh my God, I love it when you wear your hair up," or "You look so good," or "You look so sexy." And those words, sexy and my hair up, it would
Yeah.
never cross my mind at all.
Mhm.
And so little by little, of course, I would always say, "Oh, please, please stop. You're just saying that because you like me." But little by little, the more he said it, it was kind of like, "Oh, well, maybe I don't look so bad, I guess." Well, okay, sure. Okay, I'll pop that one out. Okay, cool. And then I just kind of became comfortable with it. And about a month ago, somebody mentioned that they really hated how I wore my hair up and how my ears were sticking out, and how someone needs to tell me that that really doesn't look good on me because that is just a terrible look for me. And normally I would, whatever, like just block that person and that's it. But like I
Right.
started crying.
Oh.
And it was more of just like I was just so mad because I had just totally gotten over. I'm so over it. Like
Yeah.
I wear my hair up all the time. Like you don't like my ears, like suck it. I really don't
Yeah.
care. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't care.
Yeah.
And but it bothered me that this lady cared so much that she would have to. First of all, she follows me and like wants to write it on my page. Like if you're bothered by my ears or whatever, don't follow me or at
Was it on
all.
Instagram?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, so awful.
Yeah, it was. But like he said, Camila, you're so above this, you're so bigger than this, and you don't need this in your life. You need to just let that slide off like water off a duck's back. And I wrote it on my Instagram. My bio is if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But of course, not everybody's gonna listen to that.
Yeah.
So honestly, my thing is if you're a hater, you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Probably. You're just gonna get blocked and that's it. Like I don't have time for haters.
What advice would you give to another girl or boy, I mean like whoever's watching this, when they feel self-conscious about themselves? Because I'm a firm believer in like be natural. I mean, okay, I got fake hair, I got the weave thing going on, but like but
Well, you know
like
what? That's like enhancing your personality.
yeah, and I'm totally okay with admitting it. Like I'm not like, oh, this is my hair, nothing like that. And you know, like what do you have to say to somebody that's like, "Oh, I'm just so ugly the way that I am and like I'm just so embarrassed." Like what would you say to somebody like that?
I would definitely say that, and there's so many Cuban phrases that come into mind, but I'm like trying to do literal translations. There's one, there's one that says, "Para gustos hicieron colores," which means for tastes, colors were made. Different colors were made. So, the different people like purple, different people like orange, different people like red, different people like, what I'm saying? Everybody has a different favorite color. And to me, everybody's beautiful. And what is beautiful to me is your spirit, your confidence, your energy. And even if even if you're an introvert, even if that's your spirit, if you're quiet, what I'm saying? I think that's what makes you beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And And I definitely will say what I mentioned before about the colors. Everybody, there will be somebody for you, and honestly, keep your head up because you're beautiful. You're so beautiful, and you can do anything you want. Honestly, if you put your mind to it, if you learn about it, if you are willing, yeah.
Oh, I feel like you were talking to me when you said that. I'm just kidding. Do you know of anybody that has ever experienced like depression, or have you experienced, I know you said you experienced anxiety, but have you ever experienced like depression or OCD or any other mental illness?
I would say my mom has a little bit of OCD and I have a little bit of OCD, but the biggest case of depression in my family has definitely been my father.
Okay.
Um, he committed suicide a couple of years back and definitely was extremely depressed, and we did not know. I mean, my mom did know, or she knew from just the relationship that they had had in the past. They were not together. That he was somebody that had depression and that was susceptible to, depression and anxiety and things like that. But we didn't know. He never spoke to us about having any problems or anything. So it was
Right.
kind of like out of the nowhere. And from there, I've learned a lot. I don't know if you know about the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention,
Mm-hmm.
but they have these walks that are called Out of the Darkness, and I've been the MC for a couple of them, and it's beautiful. I mean, what you hear there, the stories, and just what people have gone through. They have this thing called the bead ceremony, and everybody gets a different bead depending on the type of loss that you have encountered in your life, and it's just these people and what they've gone through and the stories that they have shared and just the smiles on their faces is just worth it.
If you encountered somebody that you thought would have depression, or you weren't sure, what would you say to them?
I would say that I know that it looks like it's really hard right now. And I know that to me, or what I have learned depression to be like a good comparison is like being in a hole that you feel like you can't get out of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just easier to end something than try to get out of a hole that you can't get, like you physically cannot get out of this hole. And I would say that there is a way, that there is multiple ways, that there are multiple people and multiple services that are willing to help you, that are willing to talk to you, that are willing to be there for you, that are willing to tell you that you are worth it because you are. And that's what I would say.
So, what kind of things do you do to relieve your stress? I know you said you do meditation. So, what other things, like, do you have a bath? Do you do you go for a walk?
I definitely am a huge bath goer,
Hmm.
especially because Lush has made it so conveniently
Oh, right.
beautiful to
Yeah.
create bath bombs.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so wonderful. And I do experiment with those. I get a bath bomb. Sometimes I do half of a bubble bar and whatnot.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely love baths, but because we're in a California drought, I haven't really been able to do or have as many baths as I want to because I'm trying to be good
Yeah.
for the environment. But another thing that really calms me down, and honestly, like I mentioned to you, every person experiences anxiety in a different way. And
Totally.
so you are going to relieve yourself in a different way.
Hmm.
For me, like I have been mega obsessed with the television or any movie images my entire life. So for me, like to watch a movie is so soothing. I get into a zone where I'm like nothing can bother me. It's just
Yeah.
no distraction. It's me and the story, and that's why I'm so connected to film.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of my biggest things is movie going. And other than that, I would say the ocean. The ocean
Yeah.
for me is, and it's so funny because I was just reading this about the zodiacs, and they were saying that my particular sign, if you believe in this,
Yeah.
really needs the ocean. I mean, they physically need to be around the ocean to recharge mentally, physically, emotionally. So I actually do believe that. I love being around the ocean, and I feel better when I'm there and when I'm swimming, and just makes me feel good.
Have you ever tried essential oils?
Actually, my sister just got me a kit of essential oils for Christmas, so I cannot wait to try.
Do you have like a diffuser thing? Like, I actually, because I have anxiety really bad too, and I literally have one sitting right next to me.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
even know that existed.
Yeah,
I was just gonna put them in my bath water.
no, well, you can do that too. And like, I have like a thing called it's like a detox, and it's essential oil, and you like put it in your bath, and it like I think it takes away all your stress. I mean, it could be psychological too, a little
Hey,
bit,
but if it does that, then that's
right?
fine too.
I didn't really want to keep it about days of our lives because I know you probably get a lot of
That's what I
that.
mostly get. Yeah, I love it. I thought it was great. I love it. I love the questions. And that's why I mentioned that you'd be surprised that I actually have more in common with what you wanted to talk about than.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit hesitant to say anything because I know that there's been people that I've asked that have been like, no way, like, I'm not talking about that. And so I reached out to you, and then I was scared to say, like, hey, you want to talk about mental health? But I was like, why not
But
just
that's
ask?
why we need to talk about it because it's
Yeah.
so taboo, you know?
Yeah, and there's,
And that's what scares me. Like, so many celebrities pass away from depression or
yeah,
from depression linked to drug use and all of these kind
yeah,
of things. And I don't see any celebrity endorsements towards any kind of these charities,
yeah,
any kind of promotion, any kind of PSA for this, like at all. And it's like one of the biggest killers in this industry.
yeah,
You
it's
know what I'm saying?
insane.
And it just
Yeah,
makes no sense.
yeah,
But yeah, that's why I like to talk about it.
yeah, it's really good. When is that, you said the walk or
It's called Out of Darkness,
out of
but their
darkness?
organization is AFSP, which stands
Okay.
for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Okay. And is that in LA?
That's all over the US, and it's the
Okay.
only government-based charity that, well, organization, because they're actually .org,
Okay.
that deals with mental health, I mean, suicide prevention.
So thank you so much, Camilla, for joining me and talking about mental health. It really means the world to me, and I know it means the world to the viewers to connect with you on this level. And I hope that we can have you again at some point.
Oh, absolutely. I loved it, and I love sharing my experiences with everybody. And anytime you guys have questions, I always answer on Twitter. I usually try to get back. I'm pretty good about it.
She
So,
is good. She didn't
so
know
let me
me
know.
before this.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me know.
Well, okay, and then I have to ask because just for my mother's sake, is there any dual spoilers that you can give? I know you get that a lot, but anything.
I'm trying to be vague without getting in trouble. Okay, let me see.
Yeah.
I'm going to be specific without getting in trouble, so I have to be vague.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just right now the whole like JJ, Chad, Abby, Gabby situation thing.
Mhm.
It's just gonna go. It's gonna be a little cray. It's gonna just
That's going to be
just
the
like.
thumbnail of you going.
Well, that's what it's gonna do. So, I mean, and that's gonna mean doing stuff that we haven't done in a really long time. I can't say what it is. It's been years since you've seen this kind of stuff on the show, which is really interesting.
Well, the phoenix has risen apparently, which is crazy.
Well, there you go. There's a lot of crazy stuff happening,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be really fun. Honestly, the fans are gonna be so mad at me, and so mad at like what's gonna happen. But
Oh,
you know
geez.
what? It's okay. I
Well,
like it.
we love you. I love you. I think you're great.
Oh, I love you too. Thank
um,
you.
so thank you again, and we'll see you around hopefully.
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna do this little piece,
Okay.
right?
Yep. So I'm gonna cut.
Oh my bad. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible.
That's
I
okay.
don't even know what I'm doing.
Blooper reel. It's all good.